Next thought, a video to make you think this world differently. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Next Thought. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I think the US stock market won't crash in 2020. Here I would list 3 different points here. The first point we are talking about here is Federal Reserve. So here's the analogy. If we think the US stock market as the empire, then the Federal Reserve is actually the king of that kingdom. On the other hand, for those institutions such as mutual funds and hedge funds, they are the ministers of the empire. While for the individual investor or retail investor like you and me, we are just simply the citizens living under the empire. So here are the numbers for the US stock market. So for the institutions, they actually own over 80% of the money in the market. So what does that mean? For most of the transactions are actually done by those institutions, while for most of the volumes, the trading volume, are actually done by them as well. Therefore, for you and me, like the individual investor, if we would like to beat those institutions, it is almost impossible. And previously, Federal Reserve are not allowed to jump into the stock market directly due to a lot of regulations. However, right now, the Federal Reserve, they are allowed to jump into the stock market. So recently, Federal Reserve that purchased a lot of junk ETFs, and they also have the unlimited QE. Therefore, the Federal Reserve, they're allowed to purchase whatever they want. Therefore, for institutions and us, if we sell the stocks, the Federal Reserve, they will just take place of those things we sell immediately. And on the other hand, there is also saying that sell in May and go away. However, in 2020, these stereotype is just not that clear anymore, since actually in May 2020 the stock market just rise like a rocket, and here most of the contribution actually coming from the Federal Reserve. So in conclusion to the first point, it's not wise to fight against the Federal Reserve, since they can pump as much money as they want. Right now, the Federal Reserve's balance sheet has already over $7 trillion in just a few months. And I believe this kind of situation will last like in 2020, since currently the pandemic situation in the United States is not good, and for a lot of big companies, they need a lot of debt from the US government in order to survive, in order to keep those jobs for the employees. Therefore, the Federal Reserve, they won't just say stop right now. And I believe everyone knows the reason here, and this is because of him. The second reason here I would like to talk about is Coase Theorem. The definition for Coase Theorem on Wikipedia is, in law and economics, the Coase Theorem describes economic efficiency of economical allocation or outcome in the presence of externalities. So probably here is a little bit hard for us to understand, so I will describe this definition in my own way. If there is zero transaction fee means you can purchase anything or transact anything with others freely. In that circumstances, all the money will actually flow into the best assets or best investments, such as the human nature. All people would prefer to those investments can bring their best return. So here is an example. Let's say there are apple, banana, and a pear in the market. So right now the Apple's price actually drops very much, and the investment in Apple seems to be really good. Therefore, all the people will put their money into Apple, since they know Apple's price will skyrocket in the future. Therefore, they'll put money there. However, when more and more people put their money there, the demand is actually just skyrocketing, right? And therefore, the price for Apple will actually increase as well. So there will be definitely a break-even point where the investment or opportunity to invest in Apple is equivalent to pears and bananas. Therefore, people will put their money into banana and pear market instead in order to achieve higher rate of return. And here's an analogy for the stock market. Stock market is simply a market that in the entire markets, right? There are also bond markets, there are also equity markets, there are also swap markets, there is also real estate markets, right? So when more and more money are printed from the Federal Reserve, they will put into the market eventually, since everyone knows there is inflation, and people are afraid of inflation since they don't want their money depressed a lot. Therefore, they have to invest their money into a certain market. However, by giving an assumption that the stock market will drop, right? Even though it drops, The other markets, let's assume their price or their opportunity remain the same. Therefore, more people will think that, okay, so right now the stock market drops so much, there's definitely a more opportunity existing in this market. Therefore, I will put my money into stock market instead of other markets. Therefore, according to Coase Theorem, people will put the money into the stock market and will make the market increase. So probably here you would like to ask, like, why I'm so sure that the US stock market won't crash in the short term. And this is due to the first point, that the Federal Reserve is continuously printing a lot of money in the market, and this money will be eventually invested in the market. Even though there was a short-term decline in the stock market, it will recover eventually, and in very short term, I mean, since right now the speed of printing money is just so fast that nobody can stop it. My third reason is a lot of Chinese actually buying US stock markets right now. Previously Chinese are not allowed to invest in US stock market directly. Therefore, if they would like to invest for the mainland China, they have to reach out to Hong Kong first in order to find a broker, for example. So they will give money to the broker, and the broker will help them buy those US stocks for them instead. So that is really inconvenient, and since the volume or the amount required is really large, therefore not many Chinese are having this kind of opportunity to invest in stock market freely. However, right now, due to the app, if I'm not wrong, this is the only app that mainland China can use to invest in US stock market, and that is called Futu. So I have checked the Futu first quarter result here. So for the user, it actually jumps over 50% year to year to 4.8 million people. And the total trading volume increases 160%, which amounts to 600 billion Hong Kong dollars. So here probably you can see that a lot of Chinese, they're so eager to put their money into the US stock market. Since for most of Chinese, like me, we love saving money and to see an opportunity and to invest our money. However, right now for most of Americans, since unfortunately due to the circumstances, they may not have the cash flow into their bank account right now. Therefore, I think for most of people, Americans, they actually don't have so much money to invest in stock market instead. Therefore, I believe for Chinese, they see this as a kind of opportunity, and they would like to invest money. And this is just the first quarter result for Futu. And I believe more and more Chinese will actually join this big army for the second and third quarter. Since right now I'm looking at a lot of Chinese media, and they just keep saying that investing in US stock market is good, and therefore more and more Chinese, in my opinion, will invest in the stock market in the second and third quarter. But of course, my analysis here are just purely based on my personal understanding about the stock market. You can never ever predict the markets by simply using my assumptions. Since if a person can precisely predict the market, he or she will definitely be a billionaire. There's no doubt, right? Therefore, we have to digest all the information we have and make the best decision for yourself. Alright, I think this is the end for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.